Are you ready? The Kornelia Stephanie Show. Wake up to love, your call to action. Join Kornelia as she empowers others to live heaven on earth. Kornelia teaches listeners how to be the authority over yourself, embracing your inner guru. Feel yourself uplifted into limitless expansion, integrating ease and grace in a changing world. This show will cover topics such as unconditional love, your physical body, how to be in extraordinary relationships, create financial and emotional wealth, embracing entrepreneurship in the new earth. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. It's an honor and a pleasure to be with you today. We have our series, Stories of Hope. In a world where there's so much chaos and confusion going on, now more than ever, we need hope. So I can't wait to introduce you to our first guest, Craig Meriwether. He's here from Flagstaff, Arizona. And just a little bit about him. When he was a teenager, he struggled for many years with depression and anxiety. Eventually, he was diagnosed with bipolar 2 when he was 50 years old. He found healing by learning to take back control of his subconscious mind and nervous system through hypnotherapy and NLP techniques. After learning so much, he trained to become a clinical hypnotherapist himself. So now he is a certified hypnotherapist, medical hypnosis specialist, a neuro-linguistic programming specialist, and founder of Arizona Integrative Hypnotherapy, helping people eliminate the negative emotions and limiting beliefs that may be keeping them from reaching their full potential. For over 12 years, he's been helping people heal from early childhood trauma, helping cancer patients with pain control, veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder, students with test anxiety, entrepreneurs with confidence, athletes with peak performance, and anyone who may be dealing with overwhelm, fear, and anxiety. My goodness, what a wonderful calling. Welcome to the show today, Craig
Cornelia.
Meriwether.
Oh, thank you, Cornelia. I'm really excited to be on your show. I'm looking forward to this conversation. Don't know where it's going, so I've been looking forward to this all day today.
It's so good. It's amazing when we find ourselves, right, with the most challenging situations, whatever it may be, whether it's an illness or tests that life gives us. And obviously you've had your share, and now you've turned those challenges into triumphs, and you've healed your own life, and you're helping others heal as well.
Yeah, and it was such a journey, especially the kind of head slap of finally finding out after 25 years of just managing and dealing and working on myself that, oh, this makes a lot of sense. Bipolar 2 is not the fun one. Bipolar 1's the one where you get super depressed and then you get super manic and you end up in Las Vegas spending all your money and mortgaging your house and in debt with the mob and all that stuff. The kind of exciting one. Bipolar 2 shows up as depression, and the manic part shows up as anxiety. And so that was kind of the big struggle for a long time. But before even the diagnosis, it was really the birth of my son in 2000, where I really said, I got to get my act together. My mother struggled with depression and suicidal thoughts. Certainly, I had my own issues. And if my son was going to struggle with those issues, I wanted some answers and I wanted some techniques. I was a teenager in the 1980s. They didn't have the SSRI drugs, the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors like Prozac and all those ones. Those didn't come out till the mid-90s or so. So it was really talk therapy and whatever book you could find at the library or a bookstore. So luckily, at least in 2000, the internet was just starting to come out. You could do a lot of research, a lot more information out there. And I just started finding techniques and methods to just start resetting my own nervous system, changing my brain chemistry, turning off the adrenaline and the cortisol and turning on the serotonin, the dopamine, the oxytocin. And so it was a lot of trial by error, but also a lot of finding the methods that actually work. And sometimes the methods can be really simple. There's so much research out there showing that just exercise works as well as medication for depression and chronic depression, not just, kind of Monday morning blues. We're talking chronic depression. Exercise works as well as medication. Hundreds of studies show this. Of course, you're depressed, you don't want to get out of bed, let alone take a walk in the sunshine. But if you could just start the process of just doing a little bit each and every day, you can really find amazing results just by practicing. And that's the biggest thing. What is strongest within your mind is what you do over and over again. And if you're, in my case, practicing depression and anxiety, guess what? You're going to get really good at it. Just like you're going to get a black belt in Taekwondo or Judo if you practice a lot. You're going to get better at the piano if you practice a lot. So it goes to figure you're going to get better at depression, anxiety, or fear, or anger, whatever you're practicing. So a lot of the work is just practicing something else.
Yeah. Couple things came to me while you were talking. First, I want to ask, how old is your son today?
Today, he was 23 years old, 23 and a half, if you want to be technical about it.
Great.
Yeah.
I think that that was a wonderful gift that you're giving, your son, your legacy of, when he was born, that you didn't want to, you did not want him to have the same, life possibilities of what you were dealing with at the time. You wanted to create and for him to have a better life. So that's a wonderful, wonderful gift that you gave him. And obviously he's doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So who are the people that come to you? So because you talked a lot about the exercise and having getting yourself moving if you're depressed. So are your clients people that come to you that are suffering with depression and anxiety?
Uh, that's probably a big chunk of the people who come see me. Generally, it's the people who have no other options. They've tried everything else. Hypnotherapy is usually the last resort and last on the list, which is really unfortunate because there's nothing magical or mystical and so much baggage, unfortunately, with hypnosis and therapeutic hypnosis techniques because of what you see in the movies and TV shows and those Las Vegas shows, comedy shows, things like that. And it's really unfortunate because you can access the power of your own subconscious mind. And what's fascinating about this work is I'm not here to fix anybody.
Mm.
And hypnotherapy in and of itself is not going to fix anybody. You're going to fix yourself. Because who better to know what the problem is and not a problem? And that's the unfortunate thing with talk therapy. I've done it myself. And it can be so helpful, so very useful, so very healing. But if you're just talking about a problem, that tends to keep people there for a long time. What's fascinating about therapeutic hypnosis is we work on the problem. Even if you're not consciously aware of what it is, you know what the problem is because your subconscious mind is trying to protect you from it.
Mm.
That's why you get those warning signals of fear or anger or anxiety. There's something in your external environment that is triggering this response, this reaction with this feeling state. So your subconscious mind knows exactly what it's trying to protect you from. Again, maybe not consciously, but subconsciously, you know exactly what the problem is. It's almost like you have a filing cabinet of all the hurt and the pain and the trauma and the things that have caused terror and anger and humiliation and embarrassment. And your subconscious mind is for you, but its main job is to keep you safe and protected, which doesn't necessarily mean happy and thriving. It just means alive. It's for survival. And if you've had some hurt and pain, especially as a child, it's going to want to protect you from that. If anything looks like something in one of those files, it's going to turn on the armor, turn on that fight or flight stress response. So your subconscious mind knows exactly what it's doing. And that's what's fascinating about this work is by quieting down the mind and the body, even just a little bit, even if you have an overactive mind, that actually is amazing for this work. You don't have to be an expert meditator to do this work. You can have an overactive imagination and maybe it might even work even better. But with this work, what we're doing is not necessarily going to talk about the problem. We're not. This isn't talk therapy. We're going to access your subconscious mind just through deep relaxation or even light relaxation and rest, and then quiet down that conscious mind. And then sometimes it's just as easy to ask, what is the problem and what needs to happen to fix this? And it can be that simple.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love hearing that. So it's basically, you said a state of relaxation and a state of calm, and then asking a very simple question.
Yeah. It
And
can be
then
that simple.
it
Yeah.
can be, yeah.
Yeah.
It-
Just really quickly, because I know we're just got a few minutes, but what I like to, how I like to explain this is with an actual real world example.
Mhm,
And I was doing some classes, some Zoom classes. A lot of the work I've been doing over the last, and a lot of us doing hypnotherapy or talk therapy or have
mhm,
been doing this work over Zoom because of the issues of COVID in 2020 and 2021. All our sessions went to Zoom. And it just is convenient and people feel relaxed and safe in their home. So what research shows, it actually works a little bit better
mhm.
doing Zoom sessions than in person. But I was doing these classes for the cancer support community of Arizona, Zoom classes with 12, 15 people would show up, and we're doing pain control and healing acceleration and immune system boosting over the course of a few months. And this older woman was in the classes. I guess she's about 70 years old. And the third class, I was early to the class. She was early to the Zoom class, and we're just chit chatting. She asks if hypnotherapy can work with procrastination. Yeah, that's a mindset issue, trying to back away from something that seems dangerous, even though it may be beneficial to you to get that promotion or get that good grade in school. And so, yeah, let's work on that. And so we made an appointment for the very next afternoon. I had an opening. And so 24 hours later, what's fascinating is the gears start turning when you're knowing you're going to do some healing work. And she says at the appointment, I know I said I want to work on procrastination, but what I really want to work on is why I don't matter in life. This is a 70-year-old woman who thinks she doesn't matter in life.
Mm.
And so there's a feeling state to that in the body. You can point to it where that pain resides, where it originates. And so sometimes, again, it's just as easy to follow that feeling state back to the thought or the memory that's creating it. We do that kind of regression work. And 10 down to one. On one, you're going to be at the very first time you ever felt that you didn't matter in life. 10 down to one, where are you? And she says, I'm standing up in my crib and I'm crying because my father won't stop screaming at me.
Wow.
And I don't know what standing up your crib is. That's got to be like
Yeah.
12, 14 months old, something like that. And in that moment, in that terror, in that horror of this
Yeah.
person who's supposed to love her and nurture her and take care of her and love her is screaming at her because she won't stop crying. Her mind, that tiny mind of hers, that brand new mind of hers, thinks, well, the only way I can justify this is I just don't matter. And she held on to that file, held on to that belief for some 70 years until one day she decided to let go of it. And she did. And I heard from her this was a few years ago, and I heard from her for a year or so. She'd send me an email every now and then. She said, I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. And so, yeah, she did a couple of group sessions doing pain control, healing acceleration, and then one session because she knew what the problem was and she knew what to do to heal the child. And so again, a lot of this work isn't me fixing anybody, even the techniques fixing you. You fix yourself. She knew what to do, and it was time to do it. And so that's what this work can do. In the brief couple of minutes we have, it's extraordinary because who better than you to know what to work on and what to do about it?
Yeah, I love this. How can people look you up on social media and find you and learn more about your work?
The best way is my website, which is Arizona Integrative Hypnotherapy. That's a mouthful. But if you just went on Google and you search for Flagstaff hypnosis, you'll see myself come up. Arizona Integrative Hypnotherapy, that's me. And socials are the same. But best way is just through there because you can get my email, and that's what I'm fastest to respond to.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Craig, for coming on the show
Oh,
today.
it's fun.
Really appreciate your wisdom, and I love the story you told and
Thank
how
you.
simple it can be for someone. It's just it doesn't have to be hard and complicated. It
No,
just you have to just be willing to want to get to the root and to the bottom of what's holding you back.
you
Thank you
nailed it
so
on the
much for
head.
coming on. Yeah,
Thank you.
we're going to take a break on the Cornelia Stephanie Show, everyone. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Our next guest today is Summer Jean, owner of Agami Karma Therapy. She's a multi-talented professional dedicated to empowering individuals to heal. As both a mother of four, integrative sound psychotherapist, Summer seamlessly blends Western psychology and Eastern philosophy to empower her clients. Summer's expertise lies in healing trauma, addressing deep-seated fears, and assisting individuals through major life transitions. She excels at helping clients remove obstacles, reframe negative thought patterns, and release stagnant emotions and energetic blocks, ultimately fostering authentic living and mind, body, and soul balance. Welcome to the show today, Summer Jean.
Thank you, Cornelia.
I love that name, Summer Jean. It sounds like a song was written about you or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Can
So,
thank my mother.
oh, is that, yeah? That's beautiful. It's amazing. You look amazing, a mother of four. So how old are your children?
They are 6, 18, 20, and just about 24.
Wonderful. Well, they are the future leaders of our planet. So,
Yeah.
right, we've got to be creating a better world than what we're living in right now. So thank you
Mhm.
for doing the work that you're doing. We were talking before we came live that you wanted to share a story today about one of your clients that came to you today. You said she was a poster child of hope. So tell us about that.
Yeah, I've been in the field of psychotherapy for a number of years, and clients come to me out of balance, and I get the honor of guiding them back into a state of balance. And so when I was reflecting on the story of hope, I was actually coming prepared to speak about something else, but then all of a sudden it hit me like, no, this story needs to be about her because she really is the embodiment. About 3.5 years ago, she came into my office after her partner, whom she had just separated from, and was her husband of many years with 2 children, had committed suicide.
Mm,
And she was coming to me about 3 months post in very deep grief,
mhm,
not being able to parent, not being able to function. And she started committing to me twice a week and then once a week. And 3.5 years later, I just got a call from her um, so that she could share where she's at now. She got her realtor's license and is selling multi-million dollar homes in the place that she had first lived with and her husband. She moved back to that place in Montana, and just how joyful her life is, coming from a place of complete despair and not being able to show up for her kids in that time of her grief, feeling so much shame and taking on so much. I did this.
mhm.
It was his action, but I'm the one that caused it. And with her out of balance physically, she had had um, like a seizure that almost killed her. And so just that journey, that it takes time to commit and willing to show up, even when you don't have the energy to show up, you know?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that you do the work on all the levels, and you really do create the life that you want to create. And it's about understanding the alchemy of the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the action that it takes to meet universe halfway, right?
yeah,
So
yeah. Wow, that is a beautiful story. I love hearing stories like this from people that are rising and are rising into their highest after some form of devastation, right? Which I could only imagine if that was me. I can identify with those feelings like, was this my fault? Is this me? And then having to face the world, having to face your children when you don't have the strength to be able to
yeah, and
show
hold their grief.
and hold their grief. I know, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
And it's the human experience to be in such dark places and suffering, but it's
Mhm.
also the human experience to say, I need help, I don't got this, and
Yeah.
then overcome it. And
Yeah.
to me, that's the empowerment journey. Like,
I'm curious how she found you.
So I lived in a small town in Montana called Red Lodge, and very small town, less than 5,000 people. So she was referred to me by a medical practitioner that she had seen and said, you need to go see Summer. So
Yeah, so that, it's interesting, whenever we go through something, we're never alone anyway.
yeah,
But to, then have um connections that are made on your behalf, whether it's a referral or a friend is saying something to you, or, there's always hope for you. There's always help for you, and you have to be willing to show up for that help. And so she had
yeah,
that, obviously.
yeah,
She had to make the call to you.
yeah. And that first step really is the hardest step.
Yeah,
But when somebody says, okay, I got you, just keep
yeah.
coming. Like I'm so confident in the work that I'm honored to do, that
Mhm.
when somebody comes in despair, if they put in, I'll put in,
Yeah.
so that reciprocity is really important too.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
it has to be a match, right? With energy. We can't be more invested in a relationship if the person isn't invested in the
You
relationship,
got it.
right?
Yeah.
So I think it's wonderful that you're offering that work. I mean, especially nowadays, people are facing a lot of loss. Are you finding that?
Yeah, I mean, there really is a shift post-COVID,
Yeah.
and that's coming from all the systems, government, increase in economic hardships and finances, and it, to be in a state of survival.
Mhm.
It's on all the levels. Yeah.
On all the levels, yeah.
Yeah, and now we're just seeing the kind of the ripple effect of hardships on families and the communities, and so yeah.
So how does it work? How do people find you on social media? How do people connect with you?
I'm on Instagram.
Hmm.
I am playing with TikTok. It's been so fun making videos, actually. Instagram, Sunflower for Om. Facebook is Summer Jean. Origami Karma Therapy. I've got 2 pages there, but my website is the best. It's the best way to connect with me. On Instagram, I have a link tree that people can connect with and schedule a free consultation call. So,
So what
yeah,
is the name of the website?
agamikarmatherapy.com. AGAMI Karma Therapy.
What gave that name?
Oh, I have been in private practice for over 7 years.
Hmm.
And I started this business while I was working with a mental health center. So for about 10 years, Agami Karma Therapy has been my practice name. And I study Eastern philosophy, and Agama Karma Therapy, or Agami Karma, is future karma. So
Ah,
there's past karma, present karma, future karma, and all the work that I do is healing the past, gaining capacity to be in the present centered self energy so that we can create the vision of the future. And Agami Karma sticks. It's what I
yeah,
come back to. It's the work I do of the empowerment in the moment so we
yeah,
can be who and what we want to be.
yeah, that's beautiful. I had
Yeah.
never heard of that therapy before. I'd never heard of that name. That's why I was curious of what it is. Certainly, I've heard of karma before. Um,
Yeah.
I think it's great that you have that name and that you're talking about it in the way that you are, because it is about our karma that we're putting out. And so we don't want to keep living these devastations of the human spirit. We want to be able to rise into our highest potential and what it is that we came here to create and do.
Yeah. I mean, really, when we understand there are laws. There are spiritual laws. One of
Yeah.
them is law of manifestation, which everybody is into, but one is law of correspondence, law of cause and effect. So really it's about taking accountability for what we put out, because we will get it back. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of layers to understand when it's not as simple as I just got to heal. There's just so much to navigate in the human experience through the mind and the body, and understanding how to work with life.
Right. It's like a, Waking up to our true potential and healing our wounds from the past and dealing with grief and dealing with, the enormous change that we're all going through right now on this planet. I mean,
Yeah.
it's exhausting to say the
Yeah.
least. It's like, oh my
Well,
God,
and to know we're not victims of it too.
right. We are
Mm.
creators. And
Yeah, we are
that's
empowered.
yeah. And I look at it like when you're talking about the law of cause and effect is really like a boomerang that you're sending out, a boomerang of your energy you're sending out, and that boomerang will return.
Mhm.
So it's beautiful. Let's tell the audience again your Instagram, your social media handles again.
Yeah, Instagram is sunflower, the number 4, OM, sunflower for Om. Facebook is Summer Jean
Mhm.
or Agami Karma Therapy. And then my website, which is the best way to connect after Instagram, is very easy. You just go on my link tree, connect with me directly there, or my website is agamikarmatherapy.com.
Wonderful.
And on my website, I've got a blog, and the blog explains Agami Karma Therapy, or I keep saying therapy, but just Agami Karma, what that is.
Okay, good, good. Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad I asked what it was so that we can get a little taste of what you're living and helping people with.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Summer Peterson, for coming on the show. It was a
Yeah.
pleasure to have you on.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break, everyone. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. I'm so excited. We have Marija Kalenic here. She's here from Rome. I love it when we have people join us from around the world, guests from around the world. We certainly have the audience members that are listening from around the world, but I love it when we have guests from around the world. So Marija is here, and she is not just a coach. She's a beacon of transformation, guiding individuals to break free from the stories they tell themselves, stories that block them from becoming who they truly aspire to be. Through her deep understanding of the integrate differences between convictions and values, Marija helps her clients unravel their thinking and behavior patterns, empowering them to navigate a path towards a more fulfilling existence. Welcome to the show today, Marija Kalenic.
Well, thank you very much, Cornelia. I'm really excited to be here.
So, what got you started in this work? I mean, what started your path of transformation?
Well, let's say that since I was a very little girl, I was really, really into people, into studying them. I found human beings so interesting, and their behavior, their minds, the way they think, they behave, and how it's not really all the time in balance. It's contradictory so many times. So I used to study people when I was small. Then I started studying various religions, and then when the war started, you see, I'm from ex-Yugoslavia, so I was only a teenager when the war started there. I started to learn the all the holistic practices and energy work. And then to help myself
Yeah.
mentally and emotionally. And actually, that was the point when I started to know myself better.
Mm-hmm.
And starting to know myself better, it was so much easier to understand the others. So on my path, then I had a big injury, and to be able to do rehab for myself, I learned also how to do a rehab, and I became kinesiologist. So I started to work with people in rehab, and I started to work with their bodies. And this opened my eyes, because I understood that their bodies, human bodies, are so complicated and complex, but it is as their minds and as their emotional body and as their energetic body. And all of those are so entwined, and you cannot work with anybody on their body if you do not work with their mind as well, with their emotions, with all of their blocks. So that brought me, naturally, in a natural way, to work as a coach as well. I mean, to start coaching.
Right, right. So, did you find throughout the work and working with the body that a lot of the trauma that people hold is in their emotional body, which is held in their physical body? Did you find that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. It is amazing. It is really amazing when you go and study energies and when you go and study people's emotions. It is so entwined. It is so linked one to another, and our body responds directly. And even the injuries that we make
Yeah.
are linked to some block in our emotional body or in our energy body. So it is incredible. It is incredible, yeah.
So one of my questions was, now we talked a little bit about the emotional body holding trauma, in the trauma that we have on an emotional level, how that shows up on a physical level. What about the mental body? What do you find there working with the mind?
Well, I find that it is actually there is a big difference, and I find that lots of people who are mentally strong have like a big blockage between their mental body and emotional body. And, more strong you are mentally, so very pragmatic, brilliant minds, logical minds, they will have more problems with their emotions. It somehow, I don't know why it's happening today, and if it is a normal thing for when we were, for all the humanity, but the fact that we are as detached from our emotions. If you are so much in your mental body, you detach from your emotions. Or if you then get into the emotions, you stop thinking, you it really, when emotions overwhelm you, you stop thinking and you detach your mental body. So what I'm trying to do in my work, actually, I work with really brilliant people who get overwhelmed so quickly with their emotions that are actually a mixture of your subconscious mind, so of all your experience, of your trauma, of a grief that you didn't still, that you're still in bereavement and still working out. And also all our values and all our convictions and everything that people have taught us, from our families and their families and the society. Everything is just a big mess that comes out in our emotions without sense, without any logic. So it is so important to try to how do you say that, to like lose all the knots in the
Yeah.
emotions and get from the emotions back to the make emotions mentally, rationally clear, and this is when you manage to get them aware, to get them become aware of their emotions and of where are they are starting and why are they the way they are. Then it becomes easier. But the awareness is very important. I mean, mental awareness is very important.
Yeah. It's so interesting, how we think a thought that's attached to an emotion, right? We
Yes.
think a thought that's attached to an emotion, and then we start acting out that what
Yes.
right? We start acting it out in our physical lives, in our physical experience. And I think it's connected to, in your bio, when I was talking about introducing you, and you help people with the stories that they tell themselves, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
What are some of those stories? What are some of those stories that people tell themselves?
Oh, you wouldn't believe. Um, Good people think they're bad. It
Uh,
is amazing. It is amazing. If you are a good person, and um, I wasn't prepared for the question, for this
yeah,
question,
yeah,
to
no,
talk
it's
about
great.
stories.
It's great. It's great that I asked that question because it's so, because whatever you're gonna share now with that, it's so real and so authentic. Like what you already said, good people that think they're bad.
Yes, good people are convinced they're bad because as soon as they try to respect themselves and the famous I'm not capable of saying no to anybody, but while you're saying no to other while you're saying yes to other people so that you make them content, very often you're not respecting yourself. And the first time they try to speak up and respect themselves, they get from the environment, oh no, but this is not good. You are bad. You are not supposed to do that. And that makes them feel so bad. Or another thing that I can really not understand is the money. People are convinced money is a bad thing, and it is amazing that so many great professionals, brilliant people who are really, really good at what they do, they are afraid of asking for money because they say, well, but is it really worth it? No, because only if you want to, I'm taking it away from somebody, from who are you taking away? So these two issues are very recurrent. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I definitely want to have you on for another show, for a longer show. So we'll be in touch with you to schedule a longer podcast so we can go deeper into the questions. But for now, what I'd like to do is let the audience know how they can find you on social media.
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn and on Instagram is Marija Kalenic.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Now, we should also connect on LinkedIn as well. So that's something. What are the final words that you'd like to leave us with today?
I'd like to say that, well, I think that one thing is very important. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. I think that this is something that we should all think about. We all try to change situations around us, but the only thing you can actually change is only yourself and your reaction, your response to a situation.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Maria, for coming on the show. Wonderful to talk to you, wonderful to meet you. And we're going to have you back on another show. We're going to take a break on the Kornelia Stephanie Show, everyone. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. My next guest is Lucyann Licausi. Her path to healing began with overcoming significant personal challenges, including trauma, distractions, and substance use. Through her journey, she discovered the transformational power of somatics, trauma-informed care, mindful practices, and breath work. And through her practice and Empower Her, she shares the tools and education, the insights that helped her reclaim her life and set a firm foundation for her clients to build upon. With invaluable experience as a registered nurse in the ICU, oncology, and plastic surgery fields, Lucyann has developed a holistic approach to healing that combines nurse coaching, trauma-informed care, and somatic practices. Her diverse medical background provides a unique and comprehensive perspective on the interconnectedness of the physical, emotional, and mental well-being, instilling confidence in her clients. Welcome to the show today, Lucyann.
Thank you so much, Cornelia, for having me.
Wow, you have quite the background. So you've got your nurse and your physical body and the care and oncology and all of that. And then you're bringing, I want to say, when we're into somatic practices, emotional healing and all of that, you're bringing that and into your client work today. So are you seeing clients today one-on-one?
Yes, I do. I see them virtually.
Oh, you see them virtually. Uh-huh.
Yes.
So do you feel that the work that you've done in the ICU and the hospitals and everything that you've learned got you ready for this level of work that you're doing now?
Absolutely. I feel that the bedside care, working with patients, working with their families, really helped me to understand what they were experiencing emotionally at the bedside. Non-verbally, it really taught me how to advocate and really pay attention to the details, the things that even weren't being said. Just really knowing how to meet those needs and speak up for them and speak up for patients. I worked with a lot of patients in the ICU who were intubated, so they really couldn't verbalize what they needed, but it was really paying attention to what was going on in the body and learning how to speak to the doctors and advocate for them too.
That's so powerful because I feel like that's something that's deeply missing in our, it's not even I don't call it a healthcare system, it's a sick care system, is the emotional component of listening to people, what's really going on, on an emotional level. What is it that they really need? And having advocates like you, having learned that to be able to anticipate and even listen to the things that are not being said, that's really huge, right?
Yes, very, very big. And then it does fall in line with the work that I am doing now, very much so, especially working with trauma, paying attention to the nonverbal cues, really helping clients to determine where they are in their nervous system, if they are in a fight or flight or freeze response and triggered. So really helping them to find clarity and to help them calm down in their nervous system through the somatic work that I bring into the containers.
Yeah, that's so great. Now, I did read in your bio that you were talking also about substance abuse. Are you talking about drugs or pills, or what were you talking about?
Pills. I
Pills.
was talking about pills, yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, go ahead.
yes, so I went through a phase in my life recovering from a traumatic situation where I really wanted to numb the weight of my trauma. Um, and this is actually a big part of the work that I am doing now. It's bringing in the inner critics
Mm,
and really speaking to the inner critics that we have. So, which really inner critics are the voices inside of our minds, and they usually judge us and criticize us harshly, and they're often developed from our childhood. So I experienced a traumatic event when I was 16 years old, and then I fell to the inner controller as one of the seven inner critics, where I didn't want to feel the weight of my trauma anymore. So I fell to substance use to numb the weight of my trauma. And I will say that in numbing and going through that, I really abandoned myself. There was a lot of self-doubt and a lot of shame that I carried. Um, so in the
yeah,
shame and the self-doubt that I carried, I didn't really know how to manage myself, and I feel that I lost myself for a while. So when I talk about abuse, it helps me to serve my clients powerfully because I understand what that shame and guilt feels like, and I understand how we can become a version of ourselves in this world, not in our authentic state. I didn't share what happened to me for a very long time because I was in fear that I would be judged, and I felt immense shame that I was carrying.
yeah. There's so many people. I mean, the numbing piece is all over the place. I mean, we're not just talking about pills. You can numb nowadays. People are numbing with marijuana in a way. It's an escape out. So I mean, but there's so many ways: games, shopping, eating. So many ways to numb, and instead of really getting to the root of what is underneath there that really needs to be felt, which most of the time it's ugly feelings. It's not good feelings, right? And I think that you have, there's a lot of people out there that need your help. And if you focus also on the numbing piece, in your marketing as well, talking to people if they're numbing and they want to get beyond that, that's really a big piece. I mean, there's a lot of people that could use your help in that way.
Oh yeah, my clients that I've worked with too. So some of them, I always say they're younger versions of me in form of my life when I was really disconnected from who I was. So there is that level of understanding what a client may be walking through, and that I would be able to serve them, knowing that they can carry that shame. Recovering, like if you recover, you can carry such immense shame that it just It's a heaviness. It's a heaviness that sits on you, and it doesn't allow you to feel comfortable in your own body. It just takes up so much space. So there's a lot to be discovered with liberating yourself from these heavy emotional feelings that we suppress, and we don't realize they're kind of in the driver's seat of our lives.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think that's wonderful with, how you're helping people. How do clients find you? How do people find you today?
So I'm on Facebook. It's my page on Facebook and Instagram. I do have my practice on Practice Better. That's a platform that I utilize, and that's where my program is as well. But that's how they can find me on Facebook and Instagram as of right now.
Oh, okay. And give us the full links. Give us the full links as people are driving and they're not watching. Give us say it out what the links are.
Sure. So for Facebook, it's my name, Lucyann. So it would be Lucyann, and I have two last names. It's Licausi, Licausi. Second last name is Baniel, B as in boy, Aniel. And my Instagram would be the name of my company. It is Deep Awakening Wellness.
Yeah, Deep Awakening Wellness. And what did you say about the platform that you're on? Something better?
So Practice Better.
Practice Better. And
Yes.
is that a .com or?
No, I think I attached the link, but I can send it
Oh,
over
that's
to you if
okay.
you'd
That's
like.
okay. When we'll be able to put it into the show notes but yeah, I think it's great that you're offering that you started your own company. You got all the training that you needed, and now you're helping you have your own company. Now you're helping women to liberate themselves from the pain of their past. Is that right?
Yes, it's exactly what I help women to do.
Yeah, you mentioned something before we came live, and I wanted to see if we can capture that back with last words. You were saying something about you want women to find their voice, you want women to have their voice. Do you remember what you were
Yes,
saying to me?
yes. So I really would love women to realize that they do have a voice and it's powerful, and that they have feelings and their feelings are okay to have, that they can validate their emotions and their feelings, and they can powerfully use their voice with compassion to ask for what they need, whether it be like religiously, whether it be in relationships that they want to foster and develop, to not be afraid of vocalizing what that is. When we keep our emotions inside, we build stress in our body, we cause inflammation in our body, and emotions are not meant to be stored in our body, they're meant to be moved. So I really, really, really would love for women to just take away that there is a place for you to be heard, and there is a safe space for you to feel like you can be heard.
That's so beautiful. I was conversing with a friend via video on Marco Polo. I don't know if you know what that is, but Marco Polo, we were Marco Poloing. She was at the beach and she was making a video talking about, I need more of this. I need more of this. And I said, back, I go, what is it that you need exactly? And she said, I need more alone time by myself at the beach. And
Mm.
that's what you're speaking of right there. For a woman to be able
Yes.
to say what she needs, that I need more of this. And sometimes it's just, being voiced out, being spoken out, and then you get to hear it, and then you get to create that for
Yeah.
yourself. Isn't that what you're talking about?
Yes, it is. Oftentimes clients do not know what they need in that moment. And it's a amazing space to be in to help them discover what feels right to them anymore, how they can discover what they really need, what would really set them, create a balance and harmony in their life, mind,
Yeah.
body, and spirit.
Yeah, because think
Yeah.
about it. I mean, how many people in your life ask you, what do you need? No, what do
No,
you need? I mean,
no,
nobody asks you what you need, because yeah, people don't ask. And this is one of my hallmarks too, is I'm very good at asking myself what I need. I'm good at that. I've gotten good at that. So it's one of the things that I regularly gift to myself to make sure
that's
that
beautiful.
I'm
I
I'm
love hearing that.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Lucyann, for coming on. I definitely want to have you come on for another show. We'll be in touch with you. And
Thank you
I want
so
to thank the
much.
audience today for tuning in and listening. And we'll see you again next week, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. Take good care.
Thank you. You
You've been
too.
listening to the Kornelia Stephanie Show, Wake Up to Love, your call to action. Tune in each week on Transformation Talk Radio. Kornelia's joy is to engage others in practical ways, showing us how to live in the new earth in harmony with our true nature. For more information on Kornelia and her extraordinary work, or to listen to past shows, go to her website at korneliastephanie.com.